Hello, this is Paula again, and I just wanted to share another video, and it's going to be interesting to see where this channel takes me and how I want to format or create these videos. For now, I'm just going to be doing something like you see right here, so if that is annoying to anybody, my apologies up front. My thought on that is it's better to go ahead and post these thoughts and ideas rather than hide them or keep them hidden away because I don't want to be on a camera for whatever reason. I just don't feel the most comfortable with that. So I just thought it's better to do something rather than nothing. And so that's why I'm moving forward. This video right here, and the next few probably, are going to be pretty simple, but in some ways overall and altogether they'll be kind of important, hopefully. So I'll share little spurts. Basically, these are thoughts off the top of my head. You can take them or leave them, but I would be curious of your thoughts if you care to share. And right now I'm just kind of thinking about how each person, I've heard it put once that everyone has a philosophy of life, or that everybody has a worldview or a view on the world, basically. A lot of people have come to not like that term worldview because it sometimes can be associated with belief or religion, but it also could be associated with a lack of a belief or lack of religion. I'm just kind of using it very broadly here, but I think it's absolutely true that each person has a view of the world that we live in. Every person, I really do think, has a philosophy on life. Whether or not that's in a concise form that could be put into a box, I'm not saying that so much, that it can have a label slapped on it. I just mean that we each have a lens to how we look at the world, how we look at people, how we look at morality and the truth and reality that we live in this world. We have ideas on how things should work or how we would like things to go. We have ideas about what's good, what's bad, what's, neither here nor there. But I think that from the time that we're born and we're growing up, we're shaping our thoughts, and to some degree there's other things helping to shape our views. I don't think that we're bound to those forces that help to shape our views early on, and that's a good thing, I think, because not everybody has the same opportunities in the world to come into the views that they think are good and true and right. Another way of saying that might be that you might have been brought up one way in the world, but as you've grown up, you've come to realize that things are maybe quite a bit different than you were taught or told or led to believe. Therefore, for whatever number of reasons or events in your life, you might have changed your views over time. And still, it's probably very true that from a very young age you were taught that this and that was right or wrong, that these are good things to do to be safe, or to be careful with this, and don't touch these things, or don't eat those things. And just by trial and error in life, we form views of the world around us through various ways. So I think a lot of those things we hold on to this day. We don't go around touching hot ovens or irons, for instance, because that would hurt us. Some people have to be told only that it'll be painful for you if you touch something hot. Other people hear things like that, but then want to go ahead and touch it and realize on their own, ouch, that hurts. That's a very simplified form of what I'm talking about. But needless to say, our philosophies and our ideas kind of morph over time, And as we grow older, I think that at any given point in our life, we might tend to look at our own views as being good, that the views I hold are good. You might think, for you might think the views you hold are the best views to hold on any given subject. And as you grow and you learn, if you're holding on to a bad idea or a view, you might change that. And the reason is because you want to hold the best views, very likely. It wouldn't make any sense to hold on to views that you think are bad. That would just cause inner conflict and whatnot. At any rate, my point is, I think that we want to be open to ideas. I would like to think of myself as an open-minded person because on the one hand, I'm very confident in my own views. And I'll tell you why I say that. I have said in my first video how I've been challenged over the years with the views that I hold in my own set of beliefs that I hold. Sometimes very intensely challenged. And I used to get a little defensive of that, especially if the person was rude, inconsiderate, unreasonable, and that sort of thing. If it included name calling and whatnot, I didn't really care for that. And I kind of had to wonder at the extreme responses, though, sometimes. Needless to say, part of those accusations included things like that I've never really challenged my own views, that I just believe for no good reason, basically. So I took it to heart. I heard someone say once that if someone is saying something that you find to be completely untrue or horrible or something, first consider, could it be true? And if not, why not? And just to not be afraid of these things, just to really think it through and consider. So, am I believing things for poor reasons or for good reasons? Am I believing things because I just like what I believe? Or am I believing things because it makes the most logical sense? Maybe because they're the most reasonable? Maybe because I think they line up the most with the truth and facts and reality of our universe? My goodness, I would hope so. Sometimes that includes my feelings, but as we all learn over time, our feelings often have to take a back seat to what is sometimes true. You can't always let feelings dictate things. In fact, sometimes you most often cannot let feelings dictate, for that doesn't always lead to good things, depending on the feeling. At any rate, we've all heard of the many philosophers of the world over the course of the centuries, and people kind of latch on to a favorite philosopher sometimes. And usually they do so because that philosopher has put into words what they feel themselves. Sometimes, forgive that sound, that's my dog. She's here dreaming next to me on the bed. And she has her own set of views. Oh my goodness, how embarrassing. Not really. We'll kind of roll with this. At any rate, you may have a favorite philosopher or two, or maybe you know of other philosophers that you totally disagree with. And those philosophers are of interest to you because you might wonder, why would they hold such a view? It seems so crazy or outlandish. And then you have your favorite ones, on the other hand, that are kind of in line with what you think. That's my dog, Molly. I think she's wanting to kind of get in on this conversation here. It sounds like even in her sleep. Oh my goodness. Okay, at any rate, all this to say, consider your own views and why you hold them. I do have a little bit of a concern that a lot of the people in the world look at the views and the beliefs that they hold simply because they look at the world of ideas as a kind of smorgasbord, for lack of a better word, like a buffet of ideas. And you might look around at all the different ideas and say, ooh, that one looks good, or ooh, I like that one. But why? Why does that look good to us? So why does this view look better than, say, a different view? Why does this view on the one hand rate so high in my book over this other view? And I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to key in on here. Hopefully, and this would be my encouragement to people, hopefully we would consider views that are just the best of the best views. And it does kind of matter, because not all views are created equal, but not because I say so or am suggesting so, but because they simply cannot be. It can't be just that diametrically opposing views and ideas can all be true at the same time. And I believe that because I believe logic and reason win out over their opposites. So anyway, this is just an encouragement to kind of ponder your own view. Do you hold a view because it's just satisfactory to you on the one hand? It's the most comfortable on the one hand versus uncomfortable. And I say that because a lot of things in life that can bring us harm or pain or long-term discomfort might come from picking activities or choosing ideas that just sounded good at the time, but were really not a winning idea in the end. And ultimately they hurt us, and we had to find out the hard way. So in regards to life, the universe, and what is beyond us, possibly, I wonder, can we be open to what more might be had to know, to be learned about those things, no matter the discomfort, because we want to know for our own good versus to our own detriment. So anyway, that's just one of the preliminary thoughts or ideas I wanted to kind of throw out there to consider views of others, views that are different from ours. And have you challenged your own views like I hope that I have challenged my own views? Do my views stand my own test of other views? In other words, I want to test my views the very hardest of all, and I hope that everyone might consider that to be something worthy of doing for themselves. Anyway, thanks so much again for listening, and I hope you have a good evening, and I wish you the very best. Bye-bye.